Firefighter or civilian safety? That's the question. Is there a new mindset, or are we just lazy or just plain scared? Hey, this is Billy Goldfeder. Thanks for joining me on What's Your Problem? We're hosted by Fire Rescue One and Lexipol, and this is an opportunity to talk about some issues. So let's talk about this one, firefighter or civilian safety. So I'm going to read to you something that was sent to me, and it's basically as follows. We need to search every fire. The incident commander should assign primary search no matter what. If it's a light smoke condition, do a search. Even if the building is fully involved, the primary search team could do a 360 and check for victims in the yard and maybe find searchable space to handle quick venter ent, isolate, and search. Primary and secondary searches should be done even at the smoke investigation or fire alarm. Never pass up an opportunity to train in an unfamiliar environment. That one piece of knowledge or skill would pay off on your next run. From the firefighter to the chief, we need to change the mindset and begin to bring the civilian back to the center of focus. Combine all the tasks, tactics, strategies to focus on making sure we save civilians. Show up, select the appropriate extinguishment tactics, and make sure a search is done. This doesn't mean we become reckless. It means we learn to do our job faster and more efficient, and that will lead us to become safer. Let's get water on the fire. A primary search started and the backup line protecting egress as quickly as staffing allows. We have PPE, the civilians don't. 2 firefighters standing in the yard as writ will not make an impact on the fire ground, but as a backup team with a hose line protecting the attack crew certainly will. I'm not saying we don't need writ, but it should not be prioritized over civilian rescue, especially at a residential dwelling fire. Seconds matter for our unprotected citizens. I agree. I absolutely agree with what the statement is made here. I'm not sure we have a new mindset, but maybe we do. And as I read this, I thought, well, wait, are we dealing just with lazy firefighters? They'd rather not do a search? I know that's unspeakable, but hold on. Or are we just plain scared? Or are we not properly trained? Or are we not properly recruiting? Are we recruiting people who have no idea what this job is all about? The bottom line is this. No one else is coming. As I've mentioned in previous recordings, I love to revert back to Dennis Smith and Engine Company 82, the late Dennis Smith, where he said, you know, you can call the water department and they may or may not show up. You can call the police, they may or may not show up. But you call 911 for the fire department, and other than in areas where maybe the volunteers are not turning out or something like that. But for the great most part, when you dial 911, the fire department is coming. And if you say fire, we're definitely coming, right? So let's talk about that. There's nothing else more important than taking care of the civilians. Now, you'll hear discussions about savable. If a building is fully involved, like the writer put in here, then yes, a 360 has to be done anyway. One of the first things we do. So sure, if somebody's jumped out a window, we have a chance of taking a look. And maybe we might find a space, because we've all seen fires that from the Alpha side looks like it's fully involved, and you go to the Charlie side and you've got decent access with a hose line and you can get in there. Now remember all the factors. Type of construction, what's your resources, what's your staffing, what's your response time, yada yada. We've talked about this 100 times. But the bottom line is that we cannot have a new mindset. And I'm not aware of anywhere that's professionally being taught to not search, to not look for civilians, to not make rescues. What I am seeing is a change that if you pass fire, put water on it. Nothing wrong with that, right? We're going to slow things down, making it better for the civilians inside. I'm seeing that you need adequate staffing, and I'm seeing area fire departments resisting to that. Well, I'm not going to call that company on automatic mutual aid because I don't like them, or they might beat us to the fire. That's ridiculous. Getting to the civilian and taking care of the civilian first is a holistic approach, which means your first alarm assignment has got to bring enough players to the scene to be able to stretch 3 lines, search, ventilate, rescue, command, division supervisor, all the stuff we talk about, right? So you can be up on your high horse all day long about wanting to go save the civilians. But if you show up with 3 people on your engine and there's nothing else coming, you are responsible for the fact that they didn't get the care they needed. Meaning, when I say you, I don't mean you on the engine. I mean the people who are responsible for this organization. If you've only got 3 people responding on a first alarm, you got a problem. You're really not a fire department. You're pretending to be one, right? You need 20, 25, 30 people on that first alarm in about 4, 6, 8 minutes, depending, right? Follow the standard. Look at Lori Moore's studies, the IFF studies, all the stuff that tells us what we need to do what we want to do. When we want to get rid of this new mindset, maybe it's because departments are showing up with only 2 or 3 people and they're thinking, I'm not going in there. If my local government doesn't think enough to have enough staffing on my first alarm assignment, how the hell can I survive in there? I've got a family to take care of, right? Obviously, I'm using an extreme example. In most cases, if one firefighter shows up on an engine, knowing us, we're probably going in and going to do what we need to do in most cases. However, there's a lot of factors. And as far as the new mindset, I think we're operating smarter, and smarter equals better. We cannot lose touch with the fact that the only reason we exist is for the civilians. That's it. There's no other reason for us to be here, right? We exist for the civilians, but we need the tools in order to take care of them. It's like a doctor in a hospital, but they have no equipment. Well, it's nice to see a doc, but where's the nurses? Where's the tools? Where's the anesthesiologist? Where's the radiologist, right? We need that. We need to send that type of approach on a first alarm. So, number one, don't even think about this new mindset. If you're a firefighter and you've not been trained, you've not been indoctrinated, you've not understood the culture, you've not been tested before being hired to determine whether you have what it takes to be able to make those choices, that's a problem. In the company level, in almost every case, a fire department goes as the company officers go. Everyday training, throwing ladders, stretching lines, focusing on the civilian, but making sure that when you're going to do that, there's enough resources responding with you so you do have a chance to get out. I understand that we and many are willing to risk our lives to save somebody, but we don't want to do it stupidly. When 2 people show up and that's the first alarm assignment, you lost from the time the tones went off. The civilian didn't have a shot, you don't have a shot. So it really comes down to before the alarm, before going in and not going in, making sure that we've got all the right stuff lined up. So when that civilian dials 911 and they are saying they're trapped on the 2nd floor, that we have enough stuff to go in there and actually make a good grab with water on the fire, with ladder sewn at the windows, with backup crews, all the stuff we want, so those folks have a good shot and we have a better shot as well to get out, right? That's the ultimate goal, that we and they go home. But when our mindset is, well, I can't do it, and we look back, it's because there's only 2 people on the first alarm. Your staffing is inadequate. Odds are, if you're only 2 people on your first alarm, or 3 or 4, and that's it, you probably don't have any training. You probably have training that sucks, so you just don't train. So it has to be a holistic approach, starting with city hall or county government understanding what's needed. And that's up to the fire chief as well as the local or the association to present why we need this many people. And there's lots of data out there. So when we start thinking about, is there a new mindset? Maybe this mindset has been developed for a number of reasons. One, maybe we're not bringing on the right people. And 2, our local officials are not funding us properly, so we're not getting the right resources. 3, our local fire chiefs are not getting along with each other, so we don't want to use those bastards over there, or I hate those people over there. I don't want them going to my fires and all that kind of crap. There's 3 areas right there that lead exactly to why we're at in some areas with this mindset that we need to get rid of. So again, the simple question is this. If somebody dials 911 right now for a dwelling fire in your district with people trapped, what's responding? How many are responding? How quick can they get there? That's really the answer, because when you've got the right tools, you're probably able to do the job a whole lot better. Hey, listen, I hope this is helpful to you. Like many of the things we talk about on this program, so much is local dependent. You can say a fire department blank. Well, show me the fire department and then I'll show you the response, right? Unfortunately or fortunately, in North America, there's so many different types of fire departments, so many different ways of operating, and unfortunately also it happens that some people involved in making these decisions are not making the decisions on what's best for the public. Anyway, send me your problems, questions, thoughts. I'm always glad to answer them. I can maybe help you a little bit. Like in this case, take a look at the IFF staffing models that have been done. Look at the UL studies. It shows you got to have people. I'm not sure it's about mindset or it's about courage. It's about making sure we give our people what's necessary to get that job done. Bottom line, we take care of the civilians first. Thanks so much. Hey, send me your ideas, your thoughts, your problems, issues. I'll be glad to address them on here. I hope you find this of interest. Take care.